Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn how to set up SonarQube on a VM running in Azure Cloud. So we are going to pick up Ubuntu as an example where we are going to configure SonarQube and we are going to use docker-compose in order to install SonarQube. Alright, so let's look at the agenda. So what we are going to do, we are going to set up a brand new virtual machine running in Azure Cloud. And then we will open up port number 22 and then port number 9000 in the security firewall rule, because port number 9000 is the default port number for SonarQube, and then port number 22 for SSH into it. And then we will install docker-compose because we are going to use docker-compose to configure SonarQube. And then we will create a docker-compose file that is going to have two different containers. One is for SonarQube and then another one is for PostgreSQL. And then we will execute docker-compose up command in order to set up the containers. And then we will just verify the log file just to make sure that everything is working fine. And then we will log in into SonarQube dashboard just to make sure that SonarQube is up and running. It's pretty straightforward. Awesome. So let's get started, guys. So this is my website, coachdevops.com. I will be posting the link right below the video as well. So before we get started, so why don't we take a look at the SonarQube architecture? So basically, SonarQube contains three major components. So one is called CI/CD scanner, right? So this is the one which is going to scan the source code, and then it will find out bugs in the source code. And then the second component is called SonarQube server. So this is nothing but the UI component. And then the third component is called database server. So this is where we will be storing the analysis reports, or all the rules and everything will be stored on the database server. The database server can be anything. It can be Oracle, it can be PostgreSQL, or it can be MS SQL. All right, so let's log in into Azure portal. Let's create a VM first. Create Azure virtual machine. I do have a separate video on how to spin up a VM, so I'm going to go real fast. I'm going to use my existing resource group. So let me give a name, Sonar VM. Okay, I'm going to use Ubuntu server 18.04 Gen 2. Okay, and we need to have at least 4 GB memory. Let me see what I'm actually stating here. If I look at the prerequisites, yeah, so at least we need to have 4 GB RAM. Okay, I think this is fine. And we are going to I'm going to use my existing SSH keys, but if you don't have one, you can create new one. That's not a problem. You'll be using this option, this drop down, but I already have my key, so I'm going to go ahead with my key, existing key. Perfect. And then this is the default port number. Okay, and go to the networking section. So let's select this option. Okay, so whenever I delete the VM, I also want to make sure that the public IP address as well as NSE also deleted. Okay, so that's pretty much over there. Let's go ahead and then click on review and create. And we will open up port number 9000 right after we create the VM. Click on create. The VM is created. Let's go to virtual machine, Sonar VM. So let's connect to the VM right now. Go to connect, click on SSH. So we are going to copy this URL. So I'm going to SSH -i. So this was the key. That was the key we have used. And just copy this one. So this is the username and this is the public IP address. That's it. Say yes. Perfect. So now I am logged in inside SonarQube VM. Perfect. So before we do anything, let's just make sure we also open up port number 9000 as well. So go to add inbound port role, and we are going to add port number 9000 TCP. That's the protocol. So that's pretty much over there. Okay, and then add. Okay. Okay, very good. The rule has been added. So let's start the installation. So before we start the installation, right, I just wanted to show you how you should approach the installation, right? Let's go to Google and then let's type SonarQube download. So when you go here, it will take you to the SonarQube websites. As you can see here, there are like different editions available, but of course we are going to go ahead and then install download community edition. Okay, so you can directly click on this. This is going to download the zip file, but we are not going to use this approach. Okay, why? Because this has a lot of manual steps, like you need to download the zip, extract the zip, and you need to configure database as well. You need to install Java, a lot of manual steps. Okay, so we are going to avoid that. So let's actually go to the documentation. Let's try to find out if there is any better approach. Okay, so let's go to setup and upgrade and click on install the server. So when you see here, as you can see here, you see here, so this is one of the options, right, which I was just talking about. We are not going to go with this approach. Okay, like downloading the zip file and extracting. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, again, SonarQube is based on Java, so we need to have Java installed. But if you are going to use Docker, you don't have to worry about that. The image has everything. So the second option is you can set up SonarQube from the Docker image. But again, if you look at here, right, there are a lot of manual steps. You need to create a volume, run the container. This is a SonarQube container, and then you also need to run PostgreSQL container as well. A lot of manual steps, right? So we are going to avoid that as well. So what we are going to do, we are going to use Docker Compose. Okay, so Docker Compose is nothing but you can run multi-container base. You can run multi-container applications using Docker Compose. So you just have to create the Docker Compose file, and then you just execute Docker Compose up, boom, right? All your containers will be up and running. So if you look at the Compose file, so we have two containers, right? So this is one container. So this is the Docker image for SonarQube, right? So we are going to download the community edition, and then the second container, if you see here, so that's a PostgreSQL 12 version. Okay, and then this is nothing but the username and password in order for SonarQube to connect to PostgreSQL, and that's again mentioned over here. Okay, and this is the database schema. This is the database schema, which is Sonar. Okay, yeah. So basically, we are going to create this file, and then we are going to execute Docker Compose up. That's it, right? So your SonarQube should be up and running. All right. So that is the reason behind the installation. Okay. All right. But before we do, again, if you go back to the documentation, if you click on prerequisites, if you scroll down further, when you look for the Linux platform nodes, there you go. You see here. So if you are setting up on Linux machine, we need to make sure that this part is taken care. Okay. So I have already captured that as part of my prerequisites. So before we start the installation, we need to take care of that. So let's get started. All right. So let me copy this, and I'm going to go all the way to the end of the file and copy these two entries. Perfect. And then come out of it. So we have to restart the VM, but you can avoid that by executing this command. Perfect. So we are able to see what we're supposed to see. Perfect. So let's move on to the next step. So now we are going to go ahead and then perform sudo apt update. But before that, let's change the host name. Change the host name to SonarQube. So logged in again. So everything is good. So let's go ahead and then perform update. And then we will also go ahead and then install Docker Compose as well. So like I said, Docker Compose is a utility for running multi-container based applications. Perfect. So let's quickly check the Docker Compose version. Okay, very good. So that's the version. So I think it doesn't matter. So we are good. So Docker Compose is installed. So let's create the Docker Compose file. So like I said, I have picked up the sample, the actual file from there, and then I made minor changes. So if you see here, I have added this one. So when you add like this, whenever you restart the VM, your SonarQube will be up and running. Okay, so that's what that is for. So I have just added that. I have added that over here. Okay, format is kind of messed up, so let me quickly fix this. Perfect. So this is the file. Okay, let me save this file. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and then execute Docker Compose up, and I'm going to run on the detached mode, so we don't have to worry about having the control over the console. Perfect. So it is in the process of downloading the Docker image. Okay, so now it is downloading SonarQube Docker image. Okay, perfect. Let me quickly check the Docker images here. There you go, guys. So these two images are there. So perfect. I think right now containers should be coming up. So why don't we quickly check the log files. So I'm going to go ahead and then check the logs. There you go. So as you can see here, it is in the process of coming up. And if you also check the log as well, there you go, you see here. So that's the MySQL, PostgreSQL entries, right? It says that server started. Very good. So now let's go all the way down here. Perfect. And of course, you can see in the log itself that it is creating a data source, added the connection, right? So it is very much, connecting to PostgreSQL. So that's the connection string. Perfect. So this also confirms that SonarQube is operational. Very good. So let me press Ctrl C. So came out of it. So now let's quickly access the SonarQube. So the default port number for SonarQube is port number 9000. So let's copy the public IP address of the VM and go to browser. Let's access this. There you go, guys. So it is in the process of coming up. So the default username and password for SonarQube is admin. So let me enter that. So it will immediately ask you to change the password. So let me go ahead and then provide the password. So we need to change it. Let's change it. I'm going to do admin123. Wonderful. Wow, there you go, guys. You see here? So that is our SonarQube right now, guys. So that is the SonarQube running on VM running in Azure Cloud. Thank you, guys. So that's all I have for this video. Maybe the next video, what we will do is we will integrate SonarQube with Azure DevOps. So we will try this particular lab. So we will integrate SonarQube with Azure DevOps, okay? And then we will try to, pick up a project and then, try to set up CI/CD pipeline, and then we will run some code analysis. Awesome, guys. So looking forward to see you guys in the next video. Thank you.